over to you, Prasad. Welcome to you. Welcome to all the Satsangis.
Thank you, Vasu and Vani. Nice to see you again. We met once in between. We would have had more occasions to meet also, but let's see, God willing, we can meet more often somewhere. I'll start with a small prayer. I'd like everyone to join. Probably if the mics are turned on, also it's okay. It's not turned on, that's also okay with me. I just do the prayer. It's a Shanti mantra. All of you know it. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayana Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhakta Priyam Sakalalokanamaskritam Chatraigunyavarjitam Ajam Vibhumadhyamisham Vande Bhavagnyam Amarasura Siddhavanyam Vande Tampam Supurna Pramati Manadina Sevitam Deva Vandaihi Vande Vandarum Isheshtivachaniyatam Srimadananda Tirtham Vande Mandakini Satsaridhamara Jalaseka Sadikya Sangam Vandeham Deva Bhaktya Bhavayadahanam Sajjanan Modayantam Matar Me Matarishwan Pitartulaguru Bhratarishtabtabandhu Swamin Sarvantaratma Najarajaraita Janma Bhaktya Mayana Govinde Dehi Bhaktim Bhavati Cha Bhagavan Urditam Nirnimittam Nirvyajam Nishchalam Sadgunagana Bharatim Shashvatim Ashudeva. Friends, we talked about numbers. We went up to number 2. Today I have a very ambitious plan. We need to jump right up to 18 in today's thing. So the structure of this little talk will be a brief introduction to what we did last time, and we'll try and cover as much as possible up to 18. I am trying to structure this talk in such a way that I'll pull out a shloka wherever it's possible. Some popular shloka which you would have heard, generally from the Bhagavad Gita or an Upanishad or from a Subhashita, one of these three, so that we get the concept of a particular number in between. Very often I've heard that Indian, what we call as Indian, I don't like this word India. India is Apabhramsha. Why I say that is the word India itself is a very corrupted form of Sindhu. From Sindhu it became Hindu, from Hindu it became India. So we were all supposed to be people geographically located to the other side of Sindhu. This is what the foreign invaders initially talked about us. That's how we got this name Hindu. Hindu is not the right name. The oldest name of our country was Anjanabha. From there it became Bharat. Bharat is a more traditional name that we've been using. So we use the term Bharatiya. Bharatiya Tatva Shastra. Tatva means principle. The principles involved in our philosophy. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says there are only 2 things you need to know in terms of jnana. And this shloka, he says, Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnana artha darshanam etad jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yathatonyatha. Adhyatma jnana and tattva jnana. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. Nityatvam means this eternal. Contemplation of the Adhyatma. What is Adhyatma? Adhyatma is nothing but our inner self, our relationship to the Almighty, our relationship to the world around us, our relationship to the Loka around us. Loka is nothing but spatial awareness of everything around you and in you. Very often in yoga, in meditation, you are told to go inwards. It's a very funny term because we are always inwards, we are always inside, but we are always connected to the outside world. We forget the inside. It's like sitting by the window side in your house, not knowing what's happening inside. You're looking at the outside world. That's how you are. The jiva is inside the body, but constantly looks outward. In Ishavasya Upanishad, as we call it, the original name of that Upanishad is Yajnayeya Mantropanishad. In that, It is said when Brahma created man, he created in such a way that your senses make you look outward, constantly look outward. You are not connected to the inner world. Inner space is where God resides in you. That's where we forget to look at Him. We go to the temples, we go to pilgrimages, we go to all kinds of holy places looking for Him. The holiest place is inside. If that's not possible, we get connected to the external world. Constantly, we are outside, we are not inside. Meditation is one of the ways to get inside. But meditation is not a simple process. It takes a lot to learn meditation. According to some adepts, some experts, it takes nothing less than 8 years of constant practice to get into the inner world. It's not easy. I mean, you need a particular frame of mind, a particular body setup, particular way of breathing, particular habits which are enshrined in Yama Niyama. Once you cross Yama Niyama, you go to the third step, that's asana. Once you cross asana, once you perfect it, you get into pranayama. Once you do pranayama, you get into pratyahara. You go to pratyahara, if you practice, you perfect, you go to dharana. If dharana is perfect, you go to dhyana. All these are still bodily experiences. Then you go to samadhi. That's the next step. Samadhi is not still the final step. Samadhi is of two types. Samprajnata, asamprajnata. In samprajnata, you know the outside world, you are still aware of the outside world, but you are inside. In asamprajnata, you lose the prajna of the outside world. You are not in touch with the outside world in that case. I don't know how many of you have tried the asamprajnata form of meditation. You need to be a real expert to get into that. Well, that in short, last time we discussed how numbers help us understand abstract concepts. What do we mean by abstract? Abstract comes from the Latin word abstractus, which means withdrawing, taking out, extracting, conceptual. In fact, our life begins in a conceptual way. The little child, when it's born, it does not know who its parents are, who its mother is, what's happening in the outside world. It begins to see some person who probably is the mother. The first person who lifts a baby is the mother. It starts feeling the mother. It's probably the first experience of suckling that gets the baby into the folds of the mother. Then the mother becomes a reality for the child. Then it draws contours of a person that it likes. And slowly it learns language. After language, it tries to explore the world around it. We'll come to these terms as we go on. These abstract terms are explained in our philosophy through numbers, some beautiful numbers. As we go through, we'll look at it. So earlier, last time we came up to the number 2. We looked at Dvavimo Purusha Loke Sharas Chakshara Evacha Ksharas Sarvani Bhutani Kutastokshara Uchate. That's a shloka from chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita. We were discussing there. We had to cut short. Last time it was a bit of a mix-up because I was not very clear with Google Meet how it's done for a presentation. My friend Vasu helped me to get into it. I generally do live classes where I have live audience. The first time I'm sitting alone in a room with all of you sitting miles away. So it's kind of virtual this thing. So if there's any goof up, please bear with me. I'll just start a slide. I'd like you to look at this concept of insightfulness a little closer, abstract and insightfulness. We look at number 1 to start with. Number 1 is a very wonderful number. What's wonderful about it is that number 1 is the only number which is there in all the numbers, all the whole numbers. I'm not talking of fractions, whole numbers. So how does philosophy explain this? Eko Vishnu Mahat Bhutam Pratak Bhutan Anekasha Trin Lokan Vyapya Bhutatma Bhumte Vishwabhagavyayah. This is the Falashruti of Vishnu Sahasranama. You all would be very familiar with that shloka. It says Eko Vishnu Mahat Bhutam. It's a Paramatma is the Mahat Bhutam. Bhutam means of the jivas, transcending the jivas. is someone who is above it. He is in all the jivas. He is the one who guides us, who carries us. Dharati. Dharati means he is the one who sustains us. So this Vishnu, like the number one in all the numbers, is present in all of us. Why do we call him Vishnu? Why don't we call him Shiva? Why don't we call him Narasimha? Why don't we call him, say, Dattatreya? I had explained this last time. Vishnu Sahasranama says this in the Purva Pitike itself. Yani namani gaunani vikhyatani mahatmanaha rishibhih parigitani tani vakshami bhutaye. Yani namani gaunani. Gaunani means gunavachaka. Gunavachaka means adjectives. These are qualities of the Lord. They are not names of the Lord, not nouns. They are not sanyavachak. They are gunavachak. Gunavachak means they give a quality of the Lord. You got it? So Vishnu, Vishati iti Vishnu, the one who is omnipresent, Sarvagata, one who is present in everybody, everything around the earth, the one who controls everything, one who does the niyamana of everything. He is Vishnu. That's the Lord. Lord Narayana, Bhagavan, is through his guna of Vishnu present in every being. That's the number one. 1, 2 is 1 plus 1, 3 is 1 plus 1 plus 1, or 3 is 1 plus 2, 4 is 1 plus 3. So you find 1 in everything. Just like in every akshara that you see, there is a swara. The swara of A is a common this thing. Unless it is there, your shabda will not come out. Ka plus A is ka. Ka plus A is ka. If you want to utter that shabda, you need to add a. A is the first letter in Om. A, U, Ma, Akara, Ukara, Makara makes Om. I think you're familiar with this. So like Akara, one is the Akara of everything. One is the Vishnu of all the Jivas. Got it? Now let's see some magic with one. And I'd request Vasu to turn on the mics for a while so that I get a few responses on two of these. They're like riddles to understand a concept. Now anyone can tell me how to answer this? There are 9 ones on both sides. You have to multiply and tell me the answer. Don't use a calculator if you're honest. This is something known as a palindrome. A palindrome, you can read the same from the left or the right. Just use your instinct, you will get the answer. Very simple. Anyone would like to answer it?
I think it is one, the 9 ones and 9 in between, and 1 repeated 9
Beautiful.
times.
Very beautiful. Not the right answer. Good attempt.
Yes.
Good attempt. If I give you the next number, suppose now I told you 11 into 11 is 121. That all of us know. I think from a school, Maggi ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ. They used to teach us tables. In tables, we had learnt up to tables of 12 or even 20 in our primary school. So 11, 11 is 121 is easy. What about 111 into 111? If I give you the answer, you will answer this 9 ones. See, it's a very simple way. Let me explain this. 1 is such a beautiful number. It gives a pattern in many cases. In this case, especially, when you do 11 into 11, you have a 3-digit number on the right side. Okay, the middle number tells you the number digits in one of the multiplying numbers. So 11 has 2 digits, so 121. So when you go to 3 digits, 111 into 111, it becomes 12321. You can use a calculator and check it. What I'm saying, 111 into 111 is 12321. So if you go down to a 9-digit number, it will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. It's good. Good try. I just want you to think like this. See, don't go by multiplication. When you get the third number, I told you the third number, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. It's a palindrome. The middle number is the number of digits in the multiplicator. Two digits. Two digits into two digits gives you 1, 2, 1. So the right side is a 3-digit number. When you do it, it is a bigger number. It will be a bigger number. It will be, see, like when you do 111 into 111, you will have 4-digit number, which will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 5-digit number it will be. So when you come down to 111 into 111, this 9 digits, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on the other side, you have 1, 2, 3, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Correct. Correct. Ramamani is correct. Did you do it on the calculator? Good. So we'll go to another one. Another one. This is where I want you to think. This is a riddle. There's a sadhu. He tries to go up to a temple on top of a hill. Okay, he starts from his ashram at 7 o'clock and reaches the temple late in the evening. He stays in the temple for a day, probably does prayers, has food, has a pravachan or something, stays overnight, then returns to the ashram on the third day. Starts at 7 a.m. again from the top and reaches the ashram, say, by 4 p.m. because his speed downhill is 2 times the speed of his speed in the uphill direction. Now tell me, does he cross one point on the hill path at the same time on both the days? Like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, he is at the same place. Is it possible? Yes or no? Can you explain it? I'm telling you, he goes at twice the speed when he's coming down. See, this is where your insight should give. I told you 2 different days, so let me explain this. You are right. Ramamani is
Ramamani ji
correct.
is saying yes, I think at 4.
Let's 4 o'clock. He is back at the ashram. 4 p.m. At 4 p.m. he was not in the ashram on day 1. That's not right, but he'll
No, sir,
definitely
I
be at
thought,
one spot.
no, sir, I thought it was after 4 hours he will be meeting.
No,
After 4
please
hours of
read.
journey. Sorry.
No. He returns to the ashram going downhill at 2 times the speed on day 3, starting from the temple at 7 a.m. Reaches by late afternoon, say 4 p.m. So it's not 4 hours.
No, I think at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m., I think the both point will meet, I think so, sir.
Okay. The time is not important, but what's important here is, if let's say there are 2 sadhus who start at 7 a.m. on the same day. One starts from the top, one starts on, but they are going to cross each other. Since I made the days different, it will confuse you a bit. If it's on the same day and it's one sadhu from here, one sadhu from there, and the journey lasts for a day. One goes uphill, one comes downhill. They are going to cross each other. You're right? Do you get it? You got me?
Yes, sir, you're right. I think 12 o'clock then it should be, no, sir?
Whatever be the time, they will cross each other at a point that will be at the same time during the day.
That's right.
Now I confused you by saying this is the same sadhu who comes on day 3. That's what that's what makes you
Confusing part.
think.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, yeah. The word meditation is nothing but contemplation. Go inside, calm your mind down, think of it carefully. Now, if I remove that day 3, make it day 1 itself for both the journeys, you will understand that they're going to cross the path somewhere on that journey. So that will be the same time, same place. Got it?
Yes, sir, but the downhill is faster than the uphill, no, sir?
Whatever it is, it's going on the same path, starts at the same time from both the places, from down and up. So he has to
Irrespective, yeah.
cross
Yes, you
himself
are right.
somewhere. He
Correct,
has to
correct.
cross himself. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm just going to tell you a story about Galileo. Why I'm using this is the role of insight in meditation. Insight means it doesn't depend on your formal knowledge. Like you use a tool like a calculator or a blackboard. You don't use that. You think on your feet. That's the way. Galileo, when he was in school, he was very brilliant. One day, I believe there was no teacher in his class. So there was an alternate teacher. The way we get an alternate teacher for the class when the normal teacher is missing. What does the alternate teacher do? He engages the students in some kind of a task, some kind of a playful task. So there was a very intelligent teacher. He thought the best way to keep the students engaged for say 1 hour will be to give them a mathematics problem. He told them you add all numbers from 1 to 100. And as he was turning, Galileo gave him the answer. Answer was 5050. You know how he arrived at it? Anyone can tell me? Adding 1 to 100. Don't use the formula that you know. A into a plus 1 plus a by 2, n into n plus 1 by 2. That's the normal formula that we use. But Galileo thought of it in a different way. Okay, since we don't have much time, I'll explain this. What Galileo did is he looked at 100 numbers as pairs. He looked at 100 plus 1, 99 plus 2, 98 plus 3. He went down, there were 50 such pairs. 50 such pairs, which gave him 101 as the answer. 50 into 101 was the simple answer. The teacher was stunned. As the teacher was turning around, Galileo gave the answer. So he asked Galileo, how did you do this? So Galileo explained this to him. So this is what is insight. Now discovery, we all talk about discovery. We say Darwin discovered so many new species. We talk of inventions. I mean, these are two terms that are used in English. Now you look at it, when you go to meditation, all these things go down. Now we are always constantly talking about Vedas and we extol it. We say our Vedas are very deep, very esoteric. They're the oldest form of knowledge. And in Sanskrit, they call them Yathartha Jnana. Yathartha means that which talks about truth. And nobody knows what the truth is. Unless you go inside, contemplate about it. Now to go inside, you need to engage your mind from inside, not from the outside world. It's a very difficult process. So I use the concept of one to tell you that God is inside all of us. I use the concept of one to tell you one can create patterns. Then I use the concept of the sadhu going up and downhill on 2 different days to remove time from the process. If time is inside you, if you are aware of time, you cannot do meditation. You should not be aware of time. If you remove time, you will understand the sadhu process himself somewhere on that hill, both ways. So this is one way. Once you get into our Bharatiya philosophy, it's very easy to get into the meditation process. Now I told you Galileo did this. Galileo thought of it. He never thought like what the other students were doing. They probably took a piece of paper. They started adding 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is a long process for a small child of say 5 or 6 years. And especially if it crosses 10, it becomes even more difficult for a child. Do you agree? So this Galileo came out with something very brilliant. If you look at it at his age, for a 5-year-old or 6-year-old to think of this way of doing this thing, that's what your mind does. Your mind takes a shift. When it goes inside, it discovers a lot of things. It discovers something new. Discovery is not the discovery of new facts. Facts are facts. Truth is truth. It never changes. It's a new way of looking at truth. It's a new way of looking at a new path. It's a new way of approaching some problem. Life is full of problems. The very day you get a body, you get problems. But you are inside the body because you're solving problems. What problems? Problems of daily life, problems of living. Unless your mind is in control, your body will not be in control. Mind and body, psychosomatic, they're intertwiningly linked. If one goes out of order, the other goes out of order. If a body is in bad shape, the mind goes out of shape. If mind is out of shape, no matter what food you eat, what medicine you take, your health will be upset. So meditation does not come if your body is not fit. And the body will not be fit if you are unable to meditate, if you are unable to bring your mind under control. Meditation in English simply means contemplation. In Sanskrit, they say any study must be done through a threefold process: Shravanam, hearing; Mananam, contemplating. Third part is Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam is internalizing what you learned, making it part of your nature. By internalizing, it's not just memorizing, it's making it part of your nature. This understanding should become one with you. Then you understand your world easily. To understand the world, you need to understand yourself. To understand yourself, you need to understand the world. It's like that. To understand the Pindanda, you need to understand the Brahmanda. To understand the Brahmanda, you need to understand the Pindanda. You're one continuum in the whole thing. You're not this and that. If you understand the mind inside you, you understand the atom. It's as simple as that. Got it? So now let's go. 1, 2. 1 became 2. In 2 I had explained Dvavimo Purusha Loke Ksharas Chakshara Evacha. That shloka I explained. I will not go back to that. Today we'll jump to 3. In 3, I'll just take a shloka to start with. In the shloka 3, Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16:21 says, Trividham naraka syedam dwaran nashanam atmanah kamah krodastata lobah tasmat etatrayam tyajet. Very simple. To stop making a misery of your life, there are only 3 things you need to avoid in life: kamah, krodah, and lobah. Kamah means desire, uncontrolled desire. Krodha is anger. Lobha is avarice, greed. Very simple. It tells you 3 things. Is it difficult to remember these 3? Shravanam, yes, you heard me. Mananam, I don't know if you will do it tomorrow. If you do the Nididhyasanam of this shloka, you will never go to hell. Naraka, Naraka means hell. Naraka means hell. Naraka means bad life. Naraka means pain. Naraka means tamaha. Naraka means ignorance. Naraka means darkness. Naraka means continuum of pain in life, in mind, in body, various things. So there are people who live in a beautiful mansion with all gadgets, all money, all health, but fully in pain. That is Naraka. So to be peaceful, you need to give up only 3 things: Kamaha, Krodha, Lobha. Can we give up? Can I get the mic on and at least one of you to say yes or no? Can it be given up? Vasu, you can leave the mic on. So if they can interact with this, it'll be
It
nice.
is on. It is on.
They can talk.
Yeah. They
I'd
can
like
talk.
to
It
hear
is
some
on.
voices. It'll be nice. Otherwise, it'll be a one-way street. Trividham
So
Narakasyedam. If do you think that we can give up these things? Not very easy. What is not easy to give up in this? Krodha, anger, or lobha? Lobha, I think you can give up. Avarice. It's a packet of Lay's chip you can give up. It's jamun, jalebi, pizza. These you can give up. All the 3. Can you give up kama? In Mahabharata,
Aruna is saying all 3 are difficult.
yes, all in the mind. I agree. I told you.
Difficult
To
to
control your mind, you need to control these 3. Yeah? Someone, I think Guru is trying to say something.
difficult to control all these kama, krodha, lobha. To some extent we can do, but it's a big task.
Krodha and Lobha, Kama to some extent, are all children of ignorance. Kama exactly is something that you cannot give up.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, there is a scenario in the Mahabharata where Dharmaraja, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva are discussing this issue. Krishna is invited. Krishna stands on the outside, watches these people. Dharmaraja asks his brothers, which is the best, like Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha in the four, which do you think is the best of the Purusharthas? Okay, somewhat connected to this. First is Arjuna, who takes up. Arjuna is the youngest of Kunti Putras. So he starts off. He says Artha. Dharmaraja, of course, says Dharma. Dharmaraja is an apostle of Dharma. So he says it's Dharma. Without Dharma, no life is possible. Without Dharma, Dharma is the best virtue that a human can have. The rest of the things are not essential. Then Arjuna is asked, Arjuna says, without Artha, what Dharma are you going to do? I mean, if you want to carry out a yajna or something which is in line with the laid down shastras, if you're going to practice your dharma, without money, you don't have money, no priest is going to come and perform those rituals for you. Nobody will even look at you. Even if you are full of dharma, nobody will look at you if you don't have artha. He says, so artha is important. Then they ask Nakula and Sahadev. Nakula and Sahadev, they say, we agree with both the brothers, both are elders, we don't want to anger them. In fact, we agree more with Dharmaraya, the eldest. Bhima is silent all the while. So then they ask, Bhima, what's your view? Bhima says, you can give up all the three, but not Kama. Without a desire to observe Dharma, you cannot observe Dharma. Without a desire to acquire wealth, you cannot acquire wealth. Got it? So then Krishna says, I agree with Bhima. Now look at it. Giving up Kama, giving up Ichcha is not possible. Now a person who gives up everything, he says, I am desireless. I am going to a forest. I am not going to be with people. I am not going to enjoy anything good in life. So he has a desire to go to the forest to give up everything. The desire continues. Desire is in the other direction. So desire is one of the attributes of the jiva. Desire, kama, is an essential attribute of the jiva. If it is channeled correctly, this kama can be directed towards the Paramatma. If it is channeled badly, it will be directed towards worldly life. It will be directed towards the loka, not towards the paraloka. You got it? So you will be attached to the world, not to the deity, not to God, not to the supreme force. You have to have a desire to be attached to the supreme force. Cut out all other desires. Channelize, bring your desire to one single thing. That single desire is what is going to persist with you. Jiva, Acharya Madhva explained this in simple terms. I'll be covering all the three Acharyas, what Acharya Shankara said, what Acharya Ramanuja said in this. Acharya Madhva told the basics of this. He said, Jiva has three attributes, Kartrutva, but not Swatantra Kartrutva. Then he has Ichcha. Okay. Then he has Jnana. This Jnana with Ichcha. Ichcha is Swarupa Jnana, Swarupa Ichcha. This continues. Kartrutva is not independent. It's the Lord who makes you do it. You do not have the power to do anything. You are just Nimitta Matram Bhava Savya Sakshi, Savya Sachi is what he says in the Bhagavad Gita. You're just a Nimitta. You are just a tool in my hands. I make you perform all these things. So, Ichcha, Kama, the right Kama is something you cannot give up. In Kama, when they use the word Kama, generally, there are two ways of describing a word in Sanskrit. One is the Rudhartha. Rudhartha is in common parlance. Other one is the Yogic Artha. In Rudhartha, Kama is bad desires. Kamuka, Andre, when you call some person as Kamuka, it means he has bad desires. You don't tell he's got good desires, is going forward in the right direction. A Kami is not one with good desires. That's the Rudhartha. But Kama, in the positive sense, is always required for the jiva, without which you will never proceed in your sadhana. Krodha and Lobha, when your knowledge progresses, when your yoga progresses, when your meditation is good state, you can overcome these two. But Kama, the basic Kama will continue within. That cannot be given up. So it's a very important concept when you do your meditation. You need to understand this. In fact, when you do Yama Niyama, in Yama, what do they say? Ahimsa Satya Steyam Brahmacharya Aparigraha. In other one, they say Satya Santosha Shauchaha, Shaucha Santosha Tapaha, Swadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana. These are Yama Niyama. Patanjali's Yoga Shastra, if you take, in Yama Niyama, these 10 tenets are laid down. There are do's and don'ts in that. You look at it, most of them will tell you to cut out bad desires. So this concept of 3. Now 3 is a very important number in our Tattva Shastra. 3 is the inner number of Om, Omkara, Akara, Ukara, Makara. 3 is the basic number for Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Bhuhu is Bhumi, Bhuvaha is Antariksha, Suvaha is Swarga. You use this in Gayatri Mantra when you are meditating, don't you? Vishwamitra Gayatri has this. It says, Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonah Prachodayat. May that light Prachodayat, may it inspire me, may it motivate me, may it carry me with more vigor in this path that I am carrying forward. That's the meditation path. So 3 is a very important number in that sense. So give me a second. Am I going too fast, too slow, too abstruse, not able to understand? If there's
It's
anyone
fine, I
nodding,
think.
it's
It's
okay?
fine.
Going well? Okay. We'll proceed then. 1 second. Anyone wants to add to number 3? Anything more you know about number 3, you can add. I'd love to listen if anyone knows. There are a lot of things that you can talk of the number 3. The 3 lokas.
Lot of things. 3 lokas, 3 gunas, 3 bodies.
3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And Krishna says, Traigunyam Vishaya Vedanis Traigunya Bhavarjuna. Then when we call the Lord as Nirguna, it means he does not have the 3 gunas, the sattva, rajas, and tamas. That's the reason. If Vedas talk about the Lord, but if you are stuck to sattva, yes, 3 lokas. That's what I said. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Good. Very good. So the 3 lokas will take you to Bhuhu, Bhuva, Suvaha is the Vyahritis of, they are called the Vyahritis. Yeah, Vyahritis. Trimurtis. That's one way of looking at it. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Agni, Vayu, Aditya. These are the pratikas for these 3 words. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Agni, Vayu, and Aditya. Omkara is A, U, Ma, Rik, Yajus, Yajur, Sama. Vedas are called Trayi. You may tell me, no, they are called Chaturtheyi. That is, they are 4 and they are not Trayi. Do you agree with Trayi or with 4? Past, present, yes, correct. Past, present, future. Beautiful. Very good. Vedas are Rik, Yajus, Yajurveda, and Samaveda. Atharvana Veda is nothing but a compilation of verses from any of these 3 Vedas. So how are these 3 Vedas different? I mean, if you call them Trayi, what's the difference in the 3? Why are they 3 different ways? If you look at it, Atharvana Veda is named after a Muni, Atharva Muni, whereas Rik, Yajus, and Sama are not named after a Muni. They have different names. That's why they're called Trayi. I don't know if you have all observed this. My objective in this talk is to introduce you to our Tattva Shastra in such a way that you have probably not thought about certain things. I'd like you to think about it. Probably get some new direction in the way we think of it. Rik is predominantly in the poetic form. Padya. Yajurveda is in the Gadya text form. Samaveda is in the Gana form. Okay, now there's a quiz question for you. Do you know how many shakhas of the Vedas? There are 4 shakhas of the Vedas. There are 3 Vedas and 4 shakhas. The 4th shakha is Atharvana shakha. But do you know how many upashakhas were there of these Vedas originally? Rig Veda had 24 shakhas. Yajurveda had 101, 86 plus 15. In Yajurveda, you had Vajasneya, that is Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. You had 2. You had 86 plus 15. 86 plus 15 shakhas means branches. These are 101 ways of teaching Yajurveda. 24 ways of teaching Rig Veda. And Samaveda is mind-boggling. 1000. 1000. Atharvana Veda had 12 shakhas. Totally, they had 1,137 shakhas. Today, we have only 10 of them prevailing. We are so brilliant. We Indians are so brilliant. We Bharatiyas are so brilliant. We have forgotten that we have lost a huge treasure in the Vedas. We are left with 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 shakhas. Got it? In all these 4 Vedas, there are only 4. That's why you have this 10 principal Upanishads. They come from these Vedas, in all the 4 Vedas. I will not go very deep into it. Anything else? Okay, let's look at language. We have Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, and Uttama Purusha. 3 types. Hello?
You have to write the wrong answer.
I think there is a disturbance. You can carry
Disturbance
on.
in the
Yeah.
voice. Yeah. There is, see, we have, okay, then Prathama, Madhyama, Uttama Purusha. Then you have 3 numbers, singular, dual, and plural in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, you have a dual number. Unlike the other language where you have only singular and plural, you have 3 this thing. So when 1 became 2, it became Dvivachana. When it became 3, it became Bahuvachana. 3 and more is Bahuvachana. Prathama, Madhyama, Uttama Purusha. Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara is the primary this thing, the way the Brahmanda runs. In Pindanda, you have Yachara. In Kannada, I am saying Yachara is wakefulness. Kanasu is the dream state, and Nidde is the sleep state. What is the difference between dream state and sleep state? It is nothing but REM sleep and non-REM sleep. In REM sleep, you still have beta and theta waves, beta and delta waves. In theta, the brain waves become 0. That's called Nidde. It's called Sushupti in Sanskrit. Sushupti. Yachara is the wakeful state. Wakeful state, like we are all in wakeful state. I don't know if you're going to sleep listening to my talk. Otherwise, you will be in the Kanasu state. Okay, we'll move on. Good. Solid, liquid, and gas. There's also the plasma state. But good. That's good way of thinking. Continue. Okay, I'll now move to number 4. Okay, I hope you are happy with knowing a little bit more of number 3. In 4, the Lord says there are only 4 types of people who come, who love me, who pray to me, who look to me. Good people. Chaturvidha bhajante man janana sukriti norjuna. Sukriti nor Arjuna. Sukritihi. Sukriti naha, virtuous people. Artho, people in pain. Jignasu, people who are curious. Jignasu, Artharthi, people who desire to get wealth. The fourth one is Jnani, the wise. Cha Bharatarshabha, the Shrestha among Bharatas, in the Bharata clan. He calls Arjuna as the Shrestha of the Bharata clan. Why does he use the term Bharata? Why doesn't he call him Partha? Why doesn't he call him Arjuna? I mean, why doesn't he call him, say, Dhananjaya? Can call him by so many names. But here it's very interesting the way he uses names in Bhagavad Gita. They're very, very exciting. If you look at it, Bharata, Bha Deepta, Bha is light, Jnani. Rata means one who takes pleasure in Jnana. Arjuna is white. Arjuna is nothing but one who is after the Satvika Jnana. So he tells him there are four types of people who really come close to me. So you are one of these four if you're going to a temple. When you go to the temple, you are either begging to be relieved of pain or begging to get wealth. Or if you are the other two types, you're curious because your neighbor told you this temple is good, so you're curious, you go there. Or you're well versed with what the temple does for you. It's an enriching place, it takes you to the higher planes, then you become a Jnani. Of these four, Jnani tu atmeva mai matam. He says, I love the Jnani. So anyone who comes to me with knowledge, I love him. So there's a precondition. Without Jnana, you cannot go to the Lord. If through bhakti or through just blind belief, you cannot go to the Lord. Blind belief, he doesn't appreciate that. He appreciates your understanding. It's like knowing anybody in your life. Without understanding, if you have blind belief in somebody, that's a very bad path to follow, according to me. So you need to understand the Lord, understand who He is, what His role in your life is, add bhakti to it. That's the next step. Only then you can approach Him. He says, of all the four, I love the Jnani. Artho is one who is in pain. Why is he in pain? There's a prarabdha. Prarabdha means one of the karmas that is performed in a bad way is affecting him in the bodily sense. Somewhere his mind was affected in doing something wrong, doing something bad. His mind was not equipped to do that thing, he did it. And now he takes the benefit of it, probably from a past life, he takes it in this life. Very often we look at people who are very good in this life, but they're suffering. The reason they're suffering is the Shastra says you carry baggage for 10 lives. 10 past lives, you carry it into this life. Whatever you do there, it comes through. And in between, when you do your prayer, when you seek His forgiveness, when you try to reform your mind, some of the sanchita means the karmas which are in your baggage, some of them will vanish. But the prarabdha is something that you need to experience and go through. It happens to even devatas, not just the humans. Even the devatas go through it. All the devatas who came with Lord Krishna in Mahabharata, many of them suffered. Dharmaraya and his brothers suffered. The suffering was part of some prarabdha that they were carrying. The only difference between devatas, rishis and us is devatas generally enjoy the prarabdha karmas. Prarabdha karmas are not necessarily painful. They can also be enjoyable. They can also lead to laukika ananda, laukika sukha. It's also possible. I mean, if a devata has performed good deeds which entitles him to a good life and good lifestyle in terms of the laukika sense, he will enjoy it. But he can also give it up. I don't know how many of you have heard of the stories of Raghavendra Swami. Many of you must be going to Mantralaya, and many of you may be praying to Raghavendra Swami. Many of you would have heard of miracles performed by people who go to the Mantralaya, or who go to Velankani, or who go to various such pilgrimage places, different. Tirupati. Tirupati, of course, is the Lord, but this where saints reside. You go there, you pray to the saint, and you get something good out of it. Something miraculous happens to you. Something that's beyond science. Something that's beyond medicine. Something which you can't lay down logically. You can only experience. You can't tie it down to logic. These things happen when you get it. You get it in the form of a boon from a saint. A saint carries anishta punyas, punyas which are ishta punya and anishta punya. Anishta, because the saint does not want this for a worldly life, he can give it to someone. He has quite a lot of money in his pocket, he can share it with you. He does not need the money, he gives it to you. That money is in the form of some bodily benefit that you carry back from that place. Got it? So now number 4 also has some interesting linkages in our Shastra. We look at what they do. Okay, Chaturmukha was the first son of the Lord. Chaturmukha Brahma was born from the Nabhi Kamala of the Lord. There are 4 primary colors in Sanskrit: Shukla, Rakta, Pitha, and Krishna. Shukla is white, Rakta is red, Pitha yellow, Krishna is black. Then there are 4 Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. There are 4 Varnas. Varnas are not jatis. You should understand this. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 4 states. I agree with you. Good, very good. That's very nice. 4 ashramas: Brahmacharya, Garahastya, Sannyasa, and Vanaprastha. Got it? Now, does anyone know how many forms of Brahmacharya were there? Anyone? You can pencil in. I'll be willing to read, or I'll tell you what they are. Savitra Brahmacharya. Savitra means it's the first 3 days after Upanayana. Then Prajapatya. Prajapatya is Ekapatni Vrata. You can marry multiple wives, but if you're a Prajapatya Brahmachari, then you can have Ekapatni. Someone like Dashratha had 700 wives. It used to be a norm in the olden days. Bhima had several wives. Arjuna had several wives. In Mahabharata, we read about it. Draupadi was not the only wife. In fact, Draupadi was not even the first daughter-in-law of Kunti. Does anyone know who was the first daughter-in-law of Kunti? I'll leave the question with you. Okay, I'm reading this. Next. Garahastya. In Brahmacharya, you had Prajapatya Ekapatni, Brahma, when in a Gurukula for his studies, a Brahmachari, Brahmam Charati, one who is in search of the Lord. One who is Brahma means something which is the biggest aspect in your life. Bruhat is what makes it Brahma. Bruhat Mahanagar, Bengaluru, Bruhat Mahanagara Palike. It is the biggest thing that we have going in this state. BBMP. We realize it every day. Every time you go on the road, you experience all your prarabdhas on the road. You enjoy it, don't you? So BBMP is one of them. So Brahma is the Brahmacharya. In Brahmacharya, Brahma, this thing. Then the last one, it's called Bruhat. Look, Brahma, then after that, the last one is Nishaktika is one. Nishantika is the lifetime Brahmacharya, is not married for any time. That's the lifetime Brahmacharya. Generally, your sannyasis are who are born as child sannyasis, they become the last type, which is the Bruhat sannyasi. In Garahastya, people who are married, there are 4 types. Okay, Varta. These Varta Grahasthas, they live on what others give them. Asanchaya, one who does not store food for the next day. He gets it on that day, he eats it. That's the kind of Grahastha. I mean, these are followed very, very religiously in the olden days, not now. Shalina, one who stores food, etc. from agriculture or occupation that he is doing. We are all the Shalina Grahasthas. Those who are married, who have a house. I don't know how many of you are sannyasis in the audience there. So pardon me if I'm using this term for all of us. All of us includes me. So when I say all of us, it starts with me. So we are those who store food. We buy it from Big Basket and store it for the month or for the year. In Gujarat, where I used to work earlier, they would store oil for the year. And you know what? Most of them would be surprised that I use only half a liter oil in the month. I never used to like oil. So my house had become a kind of museum. They would come and look at the half liter of oil, where they stored tins of oil in their house. I never used to keep. Then Siloncha Brahmachari, who would pick up grains, fruits, etc., which are lying on the ground. They don't go and beg anywhere. They don't ask anyone. They go into the forest, go into a field. If the grains are lying there, they bring that, carry that, bring it home. Do you know the greatest example of Siloncha Brahmachari? It was Drona, Acharya Drona. Before Ashwatthama was born, he was a Siloncha Grahastha. Siloncha means he would bring these grains from the forest, kind of foraging. He would go and get fruits, etc., which are fallen on the ground. He would not climb a tree, fallen on the ground. Ones that birds would not eat, animals would not eat, it will be lying on the ground, puts it into his bag, brings it home. So that is the fourth type, Siloncha. All that changed after Ashwatthama was born. Ashwatthama, we all would have heard this. The first time went to the Kaurava palace, had milk for the first time in his life. He came home and complained to his mother, the milk that you're giving me is not milk. I had very tasty milk in the palace. Why is our milk different? Drona's wife used to give him rice powder mixed in water as milk, because they couldn't afford a cow. That's when Drona goes to Drupada's palace. Drupada was his classmate in the same Gurukula. Both of them had studied. He goes to Drupada's palace, requests him for a cow. He says, look, I'm your friend, I'm your classmate, I'm the one who sat next to you in the bench. I'm the one who cracked all those jokes to you when we were in class. Now give me a cow for that. Drupada says, I don't recognize you. I'm a king now, I don't recognize who you are. So Drona gets angry at him. That's how the story of Mahabharata starts, with Drona becoming a guru to the Kauravas. Otherwise, he was just a practicing mendicant. A grahastha, a rishi. Rishis are married. He's a rishi. Bharadwaja rishi would come in the form of Brahaspati, in the form of Drona, was married and had a household. Because Ashwatthama was born, he goes for a cow. Because the cow is not got, he becomes a guru. Because he becomes a guru of the Kauravas, he fights the battle of Mahabharata on the Kaurava side. Although a good man, is on the bad side. This is how the story goes. Okay. Then Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is the third stage, Varnashramali. In Varnashrama and Jati, there is a difference. Jati is what you acquire through birth. Varna is not acquired through birth. Classic examples of Varna and Jati being different are sage Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa is born to a fisherwoman. He is a Brahmana. Jabala, Rama's, one of the acharyas in Rama's palace, Jabala, Satyakami's son, is born to a Dasi. He is not a Brahmin, becomes a Brahmin. Vishwamitra is a Kshatriya in the beginning. After meeting Vasishtha, he is impressed by Vasishtha as a Brahmana. Then he does a penance, does tapas. He becomes sage Vasishtha, one of the Shishyas, one of the people who are induced into the Rishi fold by sage Vasishtha. Vishwamitra becomes a Brahma Rishi after undergoing tapas. So there the Jati and Varna becomes different. Varna is nothing but your Swabhava, the nature that is hidden in your Swabhava. You may be born in any household, but you can be a Brahmana if your pursuit of knowledge is primary in your Swabhava. You are a Kshatriya if fighting is primary in your Swabhava. You are a Vaishya if you are into agriculture, if you are into business, if you are into trade, those kind of things. You are a Vaishya by nature. By nature, if you are attracted to it. It does not matter if you are born in a Brahmin household, Kshatriya household, Shudra household. Shudra, all of us should be Shudras. That's the basic minimum for a human being. Anya Janasya Shushrusha is the definition of a Shudra. Shudra is one who serves all the people. If you are not service oriented, you cannot be a doctor. If you are not service oriented, you cannot be a nurse. If you are not service oriented, you cannot be a human being. If you do not love to serve the humans around you, that is a Shudra behavior. Shudra does not mean you are the lowest in the society. It means you are engaged in service for the people. In fact, in Mahabharata, in one place, in Virata's palace, all these people go in disguise. Bhima goes to Virata and he asks them, he doesn't recognize them, he doesn't know that they're brothers. So Bhima tells him he is willing to cook. Then he goes around telling he's a Shudra and that's why he is a cook. Do you imagine a Shudra cooking for a king? If Shudra was an untouchable, Shudra was to be thrown out, Bhima's cooking would never have been accepted. Do you know one of the most famous dishes that Bhima was known to have invented at that time? You still eat it today. Anyone knows what dish Bhima had invented during his stay in Virata's palace? Srikhand. Today what you eat as Amul Srikhand, patent should go to Bhima and you must be paying royalty to him. Bhima was not only good in eating, he was a very good cook. He could cook for the whole palace. Sannyasa. So I told you about Vanaprastha. In Vanaprastha, Valakhilya is the first one. Those who ate all types of food, they would live in the forest. Vanaprastha is the stage after your grihastha. When your children are grown, they're married off, you go and live in the forest with your wife. You pick fruits, tubers from this thing. Okay, if you're eating all types of food, it could also mean eating animals, hunting. Possible. If you're a Kshatriya, you hunt. They ate all types of food. Vaikhanasa, they ate only roots and tubers. They didn't eat fruits. Udambara, they ate only fruits. Udumbara is the Vanaprastha who ate only fruits in the jungle. The fourth is Phenapana, who only drank milk that was left after the calf had been fed by the cow. You see how rigid life was in the olden days. Today we are all happy. We can sit at home and catch Swiggy or what is that? Zomato and then order food. They couldn't do that those days. I don't know. They should have invented the mobile phones for them. The last stage is sannyasa. In sannyasa, you have Kuti Chaka, who was homebound, Udaka, who had home but used to roam from place to place, Hamsa, who retained the Yagnopavita and used a dandi, Paramahamsa, Paramahamsa sannyasi does not have Agni Kriya, but had a dandi, but no Yagnopavita. So these are the four types. The four ashramas had four subtypes in them. So number 4, you see, it's such a beautiful number. Then in Purushartha we have 4: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Shall we go to number 5? Any doubts? I presume there are no doubts. Wow, we come to Prapancha. Why is it called Prapancha? Pra in Prapancha is Prakrishta, Prathana, Prathama. Pancha is 5. The world has Panchabhutas in it. The world has the 5 bhutas. Okay. Tanmatras have 5. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Agni, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kham, Manu. Kham. Those are the 5. Agni, fire. Vayu, wind. Bhumi, earth. Kham, sky, ether. Agni, Analo, Vayu, Kham. Then, did I leave out something? Mannu, Neeru, Gali, Venki, Akasha. Mannu, earth, Neeru, water, Gali, air, Venki, fire, Akasha, ether or sky. Tanmatras, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Jnanendriyas are 5. Karmendriyas are 5. Antahkarana, Indriya, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, Chetana. 5-fold. Psychology just describes mind. Indian Shastra describes 5 levels. When we talk of psychology, something modern. Psychology is yet to reach where the rishis have reached. If you have read Fritjof Capra is a physicist. He is a researcher. In his book, The Tao of Physics, I don't know if you have read it, he says this very surprisingly. After all these years of research, I somehow find that we are reaching somewhere where the rishis of India, he calls it India, I don't call it, he calls it India, had reached 5,000 years back. So science is converging into the spiritual field, is what he said that in. He has said that in that book. Prana, Apana, Udana, Vyana, Samana. 5 types of the primary pranas. Those of you who are doing pranayama, there must be a lot of yogis in this group, must be doing pranayama. Then Naga, Kurma, Kvikara, Devadatta, Dhananjaya are Rupa pranas. 5 plus 5, 10. There are 49 pranas. Of this, the primary and secondary is what we tend to remember. Naga, Kurma, Krukala, Devadatta, Dhananjaya, Upapranas. Then there are koshas. Anna kosha, Prana kosha, Manonmaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. Koshas are nothing but the auras or layers inside you. Anyone who does pranic healing here, if you are doing pranic healing, you will know the koshas, you will know the auras very well. Then Ritus. Ritus, Panchartava is what the Shastra says. Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharat. Himant, Shishira is generally combined. There are 6 Ritus, but when they take it in the Shastras, they combine Himanta and Shishira. Vasanta, spring, Grishma is summer, Varsha is rain, Sharat is what you are having now, Himant, Shishira is the winter. Itihasa, Purana, plus the 3 Mula Vedas, they make 5. Itihasa, Purana plus Rik, Yajus, Sama, they make 5 of our scriptural texts. Panchanga. Have you heard of Panchanga? We use the Panchanga. Many of us must be using it right from the time Yugadi starts. Do you know what beta the Anga means? Limb. Do you know the 5 limbs? Our English calendar is only one thing. It has the week. It says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it has a date. It has a year. It has a month. And it's all faultily constructed. I'll come to that. Why it's faulty? I'll come to that again. You just talk of Monday, Tuesday, nothing different from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, other than being names. In Panchanga, it's very, see what they talk of is Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana. It's such a fine division. I mean, you look at time in very fine scale. Nothing like this on that calendar. Shall we move to 6? Was it too fast, too slow?
No, it's fine. We have another 7, 8 minutes. If you would like to finish 6, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do one thing. In 6, I'll run quickly. Then we'll go to an interesting number. I don't know. All numbers seem to have so many things in it.
Yeah.
Number 6, we have Skanda was born from the Chaturmukha Brahma's son, who is Rudra. Brahma had 4 faces, Rudra had 5, Skanda had 6. Interesting. Vaduku has 6 vikaras. Brunasthiti, which is when then there is a fetal state, birth, huttu, then growth, then the changes, mental, physical, spiritual, that is what we in Kannada we say badlagavudu, changes. Then old age, muppu, and then the last is death. These 6 stages you go through in life. Okay. Bhagavanta, Bhaga has 6 gunas. Shad guna sampurna is how he is said. What is that? Jnana, Shakti, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, and Tejas. Now you see, these are all the basic tenets that you need to know when you meditate. Why you should know these when you meditate? Can you not just silence your mind? What happens if you meditate without knowing these? I mean, if your mind is not in the right direction, you will end up on the wrong destination. You should understand this. If your meditation is not going with proper knowledge base. I don't know how many of you read this English poet T.S. Eliot. He says in this essay, Tradition and the Individual Talent, he says, any poet who does not know tradition is not writing poetry. One who does not know what has been written earlier, one who does not know history, one who does not know tradition, one who does not know culture cannot write poetry. You are just going to take a dictionary, pick words from there, probably fit in a rhyming scheme. No new idea will come out of you. But if tradition is built into you, history is built into you, culture is built into you, you'll write fine poetry. This is what Thomas Stearns Eliot was, an American, but was made the British Order of Poet. He was there in the early 20th century. One of the great poets of English. So unless you have the right knowledge, your meditation will not proceed in the right path. Okay. For 6, there is a shloka from the Bhagavad Gita which says, Mamai vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sheshtan indriyani. The panch indriyas, pancha indriya and manas prakritis tani karshati. Prakriti karshati. Prakriti attracts it. Manas and the indriyas, indriyani hayan yahu. Indriyas work like horses, they drag the mind. So if your mind is not steady, if the horses are pulling you everywhere, it goes for charanam. It goes to the outside world. It keeps riding on everything that's in the outside world. You can never meditate. So Vasu, I think I never thought we have come to 8 o'clock already. I've been meditating on the subject. Huh?
Yeah.
So is it possible to have another session?
Okay, we can continue in the next session and try to complete the remaining. Yeah.
Okay. I hope I met my objective was to bring you all into the right frame of knowledge to understand how our Shastras are built using numbers. I mean, if you look at them, they're beautiful sets of numbers where some concepts are explained beautifully there. So the numbers themselves are unimportant, but what they become mnemonics. They really try to build you into a time frame. They build you into an idea frame. And if your knowledge is in the right direction, everything that you proceed on the Patanjali path, Patanjali says one simple thing for yoga. He says Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That means all the disturbances in the mind, stoppage of those is nothing but yoga. Yoga has many definitions. Samatvam Yoga Uchate. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Yoga has many definitions, but the simplest definition that I can tell you is Yaha plus Gaha. Yaha is Vishnu Vachaka. Vishnu Vachaka means Paramatma ellede idane. Paramatma is everywhere. Paramatma is omnipresent. Gaha is nothing but Gati or Jnana. The Jnana of the Paramatma, Yathartha Jnana of the Paramatma is yoga. Yathartha Jnana of surrendering your mind to the Lord in with lot of love, with lot of respect, with lot of other is yoga. Simple. So I'd like to conclude it by saying these few words. Whatever you learn in the Vedas, unless they're brought into the experiential fold, whatever you learn in the form of these concepts, unless you use them in your real life, they are just abstract concepts. I was trying to bridge the gap between abstract science and modern life. I don't know to what extent I have done. I trust you would have found this material of use. I trust you will be able to use it. And in the next part, there are more exciting numbers. I do hope we'll be able to sit and discuss those. Thank you all very much. Krishna Arpanamastu Hari Om Tat Sat.